Hello, welcome back. Today, I will show you exactly, step by step, how to register a trademark with the USPTO. This is exactly how seasoned attorneys do the same thing. In fact, this is the only way to register trademarks in the US. So, after you get a hang of this, you can do this very easily by yourself and save yourself a lot of attorney's fees in the process. Now, bear in mind, in a limited number of situations, I do recommend seeking legal counsel. And in the course of the next few minutes, I will point out to you what those situations are. So strap in, put your thinking caps on, and stay close. So the first thing that you do is to log into the My USPTO website. If you don't have an account, you can set one up for free. Alright, so go to the upper left hand corner, click on File and Application, and then choose File Ts plus Application. This is the cheapest and most common method of applying. Now remember, if this is your first time applying for trademark registration, you will want to read everything. Okay, so owner of the mark, either your name or the name of your company. So here we will make up a person, let's say John Smith. All right. Okay, and he is an individual, select an individual, and he lives in the United States. All right, now we enter his mailing address. And you can provide a phone number, is optional. I would recommend it. So in case the examining attorney at the trademark office needs to get a hold of you, he or she can do that directly. But you always are required to provide your email address. That is the primary channel of communication with the USPTO. So now we want to enter our trademark. It can either be a standard word mark, in which case you choose standard characters, or it can be a design mark, like a logo or an image, then you would choose special form. Now this is probably the most difficult to understand part of the process. You have to specify the types of goods and services that you will use the mark in conjunction with. In other words, let's say we have a company that makes and sells dietary supplements and energy bars. Then you will want to specify those two classes of goods, because you cannot choose the universe of goods and services, because you're actually paying for every type of goods or services selected. And it's right now it is $220 per class selected. In our case, we're going to select two classes of goods and services because we only sell two classes of goods or services, namely dietary supplements and energy bars. So let's find dietary supplements first. It gives you many different subclasses. You can choose as many as you want. You only pay by the class. So all of these are in class 5, so you only pay $220 no matter how many subclasses you choose. And sometimes there is an advantage to choosing subclasses because all of those will be associated with your application and then eventually issued trademark. So when future applicants perform their due diligence, they will the likelihood that they will come across your trademark is higher. So if someone else further down the line tries to register the same trademark, aka Smith Nutrition, then that person will be stopped dead in his or her tracks. Okay, so we selected nutritional supplements. Now we want to find the correct class for our energy bar goods. Now let's say, for the purposes of this demo, we will pretend that we make protein bars containing cereal, because that's a different class, 30 instead of 5. So now you see we have 2 classes of goods selected. Now the next step is to assign bases to these classes. What does that mean? So there are 2 types of bases for registering a trademark, 1A and 1B. 1A means you are already using the trademark, i.e. you are printing the trademark on the product packaging and selling these products to the general public. If that is true, then you select 1A. Now, if you choose 1A, you have to attach a photograph of the product, which the trademark office calls a specimen. So this is proof to the trademark office that you are in fact using this trademark in the stream of commerce. And then you describe very briefly what the photograph shows. So in our case, it's a photograph of the product packaging, which displays the use of the mark, i.e. Smith Nutrition. And then you also have to tell the trademark office when you first started using this mark in commerce. This is important because whoever uses the trademark first gets to register it. So if there's someone else out there using the same trademark, i.e. Smith Nutrition, but that person started using it before you did, then that person gets to register it, not you. However, there is an advantage to registering something first, even though you might not be you might not have been the first to use it. Because if you register it first, the trademark office will examine your application first. And then, so if the first to use applicant is the later to apply, then that person's application gets examined subsequently to your application. So by the time that person's application is examined, your application has already been allowed and issued, which means the next applicant will have to begin a cancellation proceeding, which requires a lot more work, probably, well, not probably, but definitely that person will have to hire an attorney. So so there is a definite advantage to applying first, even though you are not the first to use. If you're not selling it yet, but you will be in the foreseeable future, then you select 1B. 1B is otherwise known as intent to use, or ITU. Alright, so now we have our bases. The remainder of the application process, it's just a matter of procedure. Sign, date, and then pay, and then you're done, really. So now you wait for a few months, usually 3 or 4, until you hear back from the trademark office. 80% of the time, the trademark office is we'll get back to you and say everything looks in order. Now we're going to publish the application for review by the general public, and the general public has 30 days to lodge any kind of protest. So in the absence of any protest, 30 days later, your application will become allowed and then issued. Okay, and that's generally how things turn out. Let's say you are one of the unlucky ones and the trademark office finds something wrong about your application. Then after filing date, in 3 or 4 months, the trademark office will get back to you with what's known as an office action, which is a letter that details exactly what is wrong with your application and why the trademark office rejected it for registration purposes. So now you have two options. One is to abandon the application, and the other is to respond with a well-reasoned or a series of well-reasoned arguments, overcoming the trademark office's rejections. This is one situation where you will want to retain a seasoned trademark attorney, because the office action response can get very technical. Okay, so I'm gonna let you in on a little shortcut to this whole process, and that is to look up previous applications, to look up other people's applications. And so if you ever get stuck during this process, you can take a look at what other people, other attorneys have done in their applications. So every single application in the past maybe 2 decades is accessible to the public on the USPTO website. The website, it's called TESS for short. So then you go to TSDR, and now you have in front of you the entire application history for the SpaceX trademark. You can scroll to the very bottom and find the application. So that's the very first transaction that took place in the application history. And then you can take a look at how they filled out their application. So it's very similar to what we just went through: name, address, and specimen, a description of the specimen, so on and so forth. So in the case of this application, they actually didn't go through straight away. The trademark office actually returned an office action, but the office action was overcome by the attorney representing SpaceX. And if you're curious, you can look at the office action response and find out exactly what the SpaceX attorney wrote in order to overcome the trademark office action. All right, and at the end of the process, after the application becomes allowed and issued, you get a very nice looking registration certificate with a embossed logo of the USPTO at the bottom. And all right, so that is all. If you have any questions, you can drop it down in the comments below. All right, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.